Welcome, everybody. This is an orientation to the Remo platform, which is the virtual event hosting platform we're going to be leveraging for the 2020 CBIC Annual Gala. We're really excited to have you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be table hosts and Innovators Row participants. Our goal today is to give you a sense of how it is that you get in there and start to create your tabletop experience for Gala participants. We are going to give you a login to Remo within the next week. So it's important, if you haven't done so already, that you and anybody else who is going to be hosting at your table, go ahead and register for the event. Your registration for the event is what will allow us to issue those Remo credentials to you. Once we issue the credentials, you will be able to log in and start building your tabletop experience. And we'll come back to that a little bit later on in our time together today. But without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen and show you what we're talking about. All right, now you are all seeing the Remo experience. This is what it looks like when you log into the CBIC Annual Gala. I would love to give Heidi an opportunity just to give you a broad overview of Remo, how it is that we ended up choosing this to be our virtual event hosting platform, and a little bit of what you can expect in the user experience as you begin to log in and play around. Take it away, Heidi.
Yeah, hi group. I am really excited to be talking about and using this platform for the Gala this year. I have co-chaired the Gala for about 5 years, and this year has been unique and challenging in many exciting ways. And so as we were looking for the virtual solution to put on this event, we were really looking to capture some elements of the Gala that our attendees have given us great feedback about in the past. And two of those essential elements are connecting with our local innovators through Innovators Row being a really core part of what makes the Gala great, and being able to network and meet people, whether you're looking for your next job opportunity or looking for investors, or just to connect with other people in a similar industry who can help you make your way. So with the Remo platform, what we found is that the landing page, as you can see through Lily's screen share here, looks a bit similar to actually attending a seated dinner gala. And when you arrive to the event, you come in and you're seated at one of these tables, but then you can move freely about. And as you can see with Lily and I's little headshots there at table 4, you can kind of see who is at the event. You can hover, or who is at each table. You can hover over their names and decide if you want to go join that and meet the people who are there. We can also put names on the tables for table sponsors, and that's how we'll be doing things for Innovators Row as well. I want to apologize and say that I know that what I have loaded in here right now is not a complete list of all of our Innovators Row participants, but I just hopped in quickly this morning to try to get a few in there and show you what it might look like once we have the platform fully set up and customized for our event. There will additionally be some logos and other moving parts around in this space to make it look more customized that we haven't fully built out yet. So those are just some examples there, and that's not actually, like, if you see your company name there, that doesn't mean that's necessarily where you'll be once we have this all fully set up. We also like that the stage feature here. Once we actually get the ceremony started, there's a lot of flexibility for us to have elements of a presentation that are live and exciting, like the announcement winners and pulling the winners up on stage and managing that element of surprise for them, even as parts of it are pre-recorded and we aren't able to be there in person with them. So I think that's the overarching introduction to the platform with Remo. I would also add that when you're getting in early to set up your materials on your whiteboard and all of the features there that Lily's going to introduce you to, you can also set up your profile, how you want it, with a tagline and your job title, links to websites, links to your LinkedIn page so that people very easily that you meet at the gala can connect with you and you can stay in touch with them. So make sure that you're giving your bio some love too, so that people can continue to communicate with you after the gala, some of the great people that you've met at the event. So that's what I have. Anything I missed, Lily?
I think Lily's talking, but I can't hear her.
Lily, I can't hear you either.
It's the story of my life. It's happened probably 8 times a day. So why should this meeting be any different?
Well, here, I'll give you a new lead-in. Anything I missed, Lily?
Thanks, Heidi. I was going to just let folks know Tracy Green, our Executive Director of CBIC, has also joined the call, and she's going to be adding her insights and perspectives throughout the presentation as well. So welcome, Tracy. Just as a reminder, our Innovators Row and networking reception begins at 5 p.m. sharp on the day of the gala, and it's going to conclude at 5:45 p.m. So as we walk you through the functionality today, just remember that that is the time frame that you're working with as you think about designing your attendee experience in Remo. So let's go ahead and dive in. As you can see here in the Remo platform, Heidi and I are at the same table. Heidi has joined, this is table number 4, which we have renamed for purposes of this meeting. And this icon here at the top represents me, and the icon here at the bottom represents Heidi. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and click on Turn on Whiteboard. And that is going to show you some of the content that I've pre-populated in the whiteboard. If I turn on my camera, then you can see me off to the left. Heidi, can you go ahead and turn on your camera too?
Sure.
This is very meta, I know. I'm on camera, showing myself on camera. It goes on to infinity. And so you'll be able to see anybody who's chosen, hello, Kitty. Anybody who's chosen to join your table will be over here on the left, and they'll be able to see one another and interact through your whiteboard. I've gone ahead and uploaded a random photo of my son talking to me on the phone, so you can see what it might look like when you upload a photo. But here's something really cool. Just using my mouse, I can zoom out. So this whiteboard becomes as big as you want it to be. So you can almost use it if you're familiar with Prezi. It's almost like a Prezi, right? Like you can put stuff all over this whiteboard, and you can move people around. So it's super, super dynamic. So, you know, go crazy with it. You can load content here and decide later on if you do or don't want to use it. It's really, really versatile. It almost has too much functionality. It's one of those apps that does everything for everybody. So you can go as deep or as shallow as you want and just kind of have fun with it. But I've here featured some of the key features that I think you might want to use. One thing to keep in mind is in Remo, anybody can edit the whiteboard at a table. So you might want to use that to your advantage as a form of attendee engagement. You might want to say, hey, as you join, go ahead and go over here, use the pencil feature, and write your name just to say hello, right? So you might want to go ahead and do that. Or you might say, hey, right over here on the left, but don't mess with this content over on the right that we've so lovingly curated over the past few days, right? So just keep in mind, people can do it. I would just recommend that you name that and you decide what it is that you want to do with the fact that people can go ahead and edit your table. You can also create a true whiteboard experience by using sticky notes. So they're over here. You can add a sticky note wherever you want. You could ask people to add their ideas to your whiteboard and use that as a way of creating an interactive experience, or you can also use it as a way of designing your presentation. You can use shapes as well. I added a rectangle over here, but you can add any other shape that you might want. So that's another way that you can design your whiteboard. And then there's also a comment feature, which is interesting. So you can add something to the whiteboard and you can invite attendees to leave comments as well. So it's another way for you to engage them. And the comment feature is right here. The icons are pretty intuitive. One thing to note about photos, logos, any other visual that you might want to upload to the whiteboard. The whiteboard does have this upload feature that allows you ostensibly to upload content through a number of different mediums. We have found it difficult to upload content reliably other than from your hard drive. So if there's something that you want to upload, just make sure that it's from your computer. You might have better luck than us uploading from your Google Drive or from Dropbox, but the integration does not seem to be working reliably for us. So we would recommend that you upload documents from your hard drive. There's also this feature here called templates, widgets, and icons. Here's an example of templates. So this is a way, if you wanted to, I would compare to the templates that you would see in PowerPoint. So if you wanted to organize your content and have a ready-made template to do that with, you can use that here. This retrospective template, for instance, would give you the option of creating places for sticky notes to be housed. So that's something that you might consider in designing your whiteboard. And similarly, I don't know, quite honestly, how a template is different from a widget. To me, they look a lot alike, but it's just a different way of organizing your content. And then you have these really interesting icons here. I use something at work called the Noun Project that has icons like this. So if you want to have just iconic representations of different things that you're talking about, if you want to talk about birthday cake, you know, they've got one here for you. So, so just remember that those icons are available to help to customize your experience. And of course, you can also present. So you can, down here at the bottom, share screen. If you want to just create a PowerPoint presentation or something else outside of Remo and present it to your table attendees, you can do that as well. You're not just limited to the whiteboard, but we wanted to familiarize you with this functionality. So that,
can I add a note, Lily, that people,
yeah,
when you're presenting and when you're sharing your whiteboard, it's only the people who are seated at the table with you who are seeing and participating in that conversation. And so that experience is very much like a small Zoom chat where everybody else at the event isn't really privy to what you're going on, and you're just seeing those specific people's videos and conversations. And whoever you're sitting with when the ceremony begins, you can continue to have a little bit of a side table conversation with them as well during the ceremony presentation.
That's a great call out, Heidi. Yes, this is your whiteboard only for the people who are seated at your table. So if Heidi were to leave my table, she could no longer see this whiteboard, and vice versa. So before we move on to some tips for engaging attendees, do you have any technical questions about the functionality of the platform? And by the way, when I confirmed your attendance, we did send you a link to some Remo resources. Heidi, if you wouldn't mind, could you grab that link and drop it into the chat for anybody who missed it? There are a number of tutorial videos on the Remo platform, so if you want to go ahead and get started, you can review those as well. So let me pause there and see if there are any questions. You could either speak them aloud or drop them in the chat.
Hey, Lily.
We are here for you. Yes.
This is Tracy. Do we know yet, and Heidi, this question may be for you, and for those on the call, we are still figuring out all the logistics of Remo. So do we know yet how early our sponsors, award finalists, Innovators Row folks are going to be able to log into our platform so that they can start uploading their content?
Yeah, I'm happy to take a stab at that very unclear
go ahead, Heidi.
response. So basically, once we have all of our customizations set up in the event with sponsor logos and table names, folks can get in and start loading their content. The content will stay as you've entered it for a period of 30 days, meaning even if you got in later this week or early next week and put some elements on your whiteboard and loaded some attachments, they will all be there come gala time. I think that the one thing, Tracy, that is vital for access. Because even if we got it, we allowed people access and said, you know, it's not completely customized and 100% ready to go. The thing that needs to happen is that all of the participants need to have registered with their tickets with Eventbrite, and we need Christian to have ported that over to Remo, because it's a two-step process. You sign up for your tickets on Eventbrite that are pay what you can, and then we load that list of attendees into Remo, and it sends out unique links to each of our participants, and that's how you actually get into the system. So you won't be able to just log in an Eventbrite and then go type in Remo conference and find the event. You actually will need that link to be generated from the Remo system. And so it might make sense for us to go ahead and schedule maybe on Friday of this week for Christian to do a first port over of event attendees, so that we could say, starting on Monday, everybody could get in and start loading their content. Do you think that would be a good solution?
Yeah, I do. I think that's great.
Okay, let's go ahead and set it up that way and communicate to this group now then that Monday of next week will be when you can get in and start setting up your space.
Perfect.
And in the interim, you'll get a link from Remo. So long as you've, signed up for your tickets on Eventbrite, you'll get that link, and that's how you'll get access.
So the headline here is, please register, because if you don't, you're not going to get that Remo link, and have everybody who is going to be helping to co-manage your table separately register so that they get the link as well.
One thing that I talked to a lot of the award finalists yesterday when we were doing some filming, and one thing people hadn't thought about as I was talking to them was they can invite anybody to this gala. Their parents, they're award finalists. Some of them are students. Your aunts and uncles, your grandpas, your best friend who lives in Missouri. You can invite anybody to come to this because it is virtual and it is pay as you can. And we'd love to have as many participants so that they can all show the love to our award finalists, and also see how amazing Charlottesville is with our innovative community. So do feel free to share this with others outside your local community.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you.
Yeah. Lily, I think there's a question. Is there a way to view what participants will see when sitting at a table versus the person hosting the table? That's a question.
You will all see the same thing. There is no difference between the view of a host and the view of a person at the table.
Great. Is there a Is there a chair
Go ahead,
limit?
please.
Like it looks like there were 4 chairs or something at a table. If you've got 2 presenters during any given time, how many people can be there talking to you about your thing?
That's a really good question. I'm not aware of a chair limit. Are you, Heidi?
Yes.
So you can have a maximum of 6 people at your table at one time. I'm actually navigating over to, I think at one point with an extended subscription, that number changed, but I think that what we've landed on is going to be the thing for our event, is that it's going to be a maximum of 6 people at one table.
There's a chance it would be 7 if an administrator jumps into your table to talk to you or just to visit with you. You might have 7 or possibly even 8, depending. But I would, by and large, expect that there should be no more than 6 at any given time at your table.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. All right, folks, one last thing I wanted to show you is my whiteboard right now is blue. You can change the color of your whiteboard by going over here in settings. You can make it any color you want. It doesn't automatically need to be blue. It just happens to be my favorite color, and that's why I chose it. So just to go over a few quick tips for how to engage your attendees. Just think of this as no different from when you're hosting a table at the 3D CBIC Gala. So the idea is you still want to tell a compelling story, and you want to keep it pithy and engaging. So this is, use your 30-second pitch. You're going to have people darting in and out of your table a little bit more readily than they would if we were co-located. So just make sure that you're delivering your message quickly and impactfully in an engaging way. I would make sure that you do use your video. So it'll be important for you to have that sort of presence and invite people to share their videos as well. captivating graphics, doing something to gamify the experience, as I suggested earlier, is going to be paramount. So find a way to engage your attendees, whether it's like, hey, when you join, please leave a Post-it note saying why it is that you joined. Think about having something like a guest book that people sign so that you could gather contact information the same as you would if you were sitting at a 3D table at the CBIC Gala the way we normally host it. And just encourage people to leave their thoughts and their contact information in a creative and engaging way. You could even use a Google document if you want to, just have it as a link on your whiteboard and have it be a place that people go to leave their information and leave comments. So those are some of the ideas that are top of mind for us. And I just wanted to open the floor for any other creative ideas that may have come to mind for you as you thought about your participation in Innovators Row or as a table host. And I would invite Heidi and Tracy also. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Some people's presentations are going to be a lot more technical than others. So you want to think through those logistics of how you're going to convey a fairly technical message. I know that, you know, in the in-person Innovators Row, you could perhaps have your widget, your gadget, your computer, your app present. So you need to find a way to virtually represent that. And we're here to answer your questions after this. We're going to post this tutorial online. It's being recorded, so you'll also be able to go back and revisit this. We also have another training session on tomorrow, right?
That's right,
Lily?
we do. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll have an identical training session, and if you want to join that one, it's the same login information. So even if you decline, you can just go ahead and click on this meeting invite and it'll take you there.
Yeah, there you go.
I wanted to, I think there are 2 points that I can make that might be helpful for you guys to understand the experience of being signed in the live event too, is that first of all, you don't have to help people troubleshoot their technical difficulties. So if somebody shows up to your event and they're commenting to you that they can't get their microphone to work or they're having problems seeing your presentation, we have a little room on the side of the event on the first floor that that says basically like tech help room, come over here. And we have people on the Gala committee who are going to be watching for folks who are in that space and might need some help troubleshooting from our super users to figure out what's wrong with their tech and why they can't see what they should. So you don't have to get down in the weeds of trying to help anybody who's showed up at your table with their tech. Just point them in that direction. And you yourself are welcome to come there if you have a need. The second thing I want to share is that after the event starts, we are going to interrupt everything with a little stage element at the beginning for just a moment. And so you may be in the middle of a presentation or a conversation with somebody, and we're going to set a timer up in the very top of the event that says, in a minute, and it's counting down, we're going to need your attention on the stage. And so that means that we're going to interrupt you for about a minute so that we can address the entire group and say, hey, here's how this is going to work for about 45 minutes. You're going to be meeting our innovators, moving around tables, networking with each other. And then we're going to have all eyes on the stage. We're going to introduce the tech room that exists on the side and tell them how to navigate about. Because the event's going to be larger, there are going to be multiple floors, and so there will be elevators that you can use to move around the full expanse of the space. And so just setting expectations for attendees, and then as soon as that's over, it'll pop right back into the table view that you have more intimately with the group of people that you're talking to. But there will be that short interruption at the beginning.
I also want to mention that we are going to bookend this with more networking. So the idea is that you'll be able to network for 45 minutes at the beginning. We will call everybody's attention to the stage and do the ceremony and issue all of our awards. And we have some entertainment built in, so it's going to be fun. And then towards the end, we'll welcome you back to your tables to do more networking, and you can pop in and out to other tables.
Thank you, Tracy. Thanks, Heidi.
Lily, do you want
to
give your email address if people have questions before, or if they're having difficulty on Monday when it comes time to get onto the platform, what's the best way for people to reach out to us?
Yeah, so you should have my email address if we've been communicating about Innovators Row, but I am dropping it here into the chat for anybody who I have not made direct contact with. So that's the way to reach me if you have any questions. And Heidi, would you mind dropping your email address in as well? I'm a good person to connect with about your tabletop experience. Heidi is a good person to connect with about the overall Gala experience and your tabletop experience. So she's a little bit more Uber than me.
Yeah, and for those of you who are award finalists who are on this training, you have an award finalist liaison, Ellie Linkus from VCU Innovation Gateway, one of our sponsors. And we also have table sponsors here with us and other sponsors here with us. So you also have liaisons, India Brahm, for example, our Deputy Director of CBIC, who's been communicating with you. Feel free to drop those people emails. They may need to loop in other people. India and Ellie are not experts on Remo yet, but Lily and Heidi and other team members are becoming Remo super users so that we can do the technical training for this platform since it's our first time using it.
Thanks, Tracy. Okay, friends, we are going to go ahead and send you a link to this recording so you can share it with others who may not have been able to join. And like we said, if you want to rejoin and ask us any questions that come to mind over the course of the day, please feel free to join us again at 9 a.m., same Zoom link. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.